Well, this is Chris
All
and
right.
Scott's Music Spot. I'm Chris.
I'm Scott.
What's going on, people? So, since you didn't get episode 1, what we do here is we give each other album to listen to, and we talk about what we like, what we don't like, anything we thought was cool, what wasn't cool, our impressions of it. It can be from any genre, any popularity, from local band to super mega famous, whatever. So, last time, since we don't have episode 1 because I lost it, um, Scott wanted to do what albums made us want to play guitar. So he told
Yeah.
me Led Zeppelin 1, and I told him Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction. So let's have Mr. Scott go first.
All right. All right. Well, as you know, I've been around a long time, so Appetite came out in 87, I
87,
think summer of
87.
87.
Yes.
So that would have put me at 17. Um yeah, it's I've heard every song more than once. I went back and re-listened to the songs that I hadn't either didn't remember hearing or hadn't heard in 30 years or whatever. The other songs I already know.
There's some famous
when
ones.
when the well yeah, so the Sweet Child of Mine, that was the guitar riff whatever of the 80s pretty much.
Yeah, that was a
Um
that was a big one.
it put them on the map. So I guess when this album came out, it didn't really get right away a lot of attention.
Not till Sweet Child of
So
Mine came out. No.
right. So I had heard of them, and of course, me being I was headlong into Metallica. So Guns N' Roses was like a heavy I always likened it to a heavy Aerosmith.
Okay.
Um
All right.
but maybe the singer wasn't quite as good as Steven Tyler, but he's pretty good. Um, I wasn't a big fan of the singing back then. I guess I didn't realize how original really it was, and his vocal range is tremendous.
He's got a
And I
huge
didn't
range.
I didn't appreciate that back then. Again, because my big thing was Metallica. So, and anything that wasn't heavy like that wasn't really in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But but over the years, I've come to appreciate the really probably Izzy Stradlin, the rhythm guitar player.
Him and Axel were what made the band. They wrote all the songs.
Well, there you go. So I always knew there was something special about him
Mm-hmm.
because when you listen to there's to me there's two things that play musically that really set that band apart, and it was Izzy, the rhythm guitar player, and Steven Adler, the drums. The guy was on the edge, using the cowbell, doing crazy shit. He was a wild man, and he played like a wild man, and he I don't know what it is about the swing of his playing with the rhythm guitar. I don't know, but over the years I've come to greatly appreciate their groove.
Interesting. I did not think that you would say that, but okay.
Really,
Yeah.
really.
No.
Yeah, no, I don't know what it is. It's like the guitar and the drums rhythmically were really locked in and really swingy.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just straight ahead like Steven Adler. When you listen to older or newer, I guess, newer Guns N' Roses, Matt Sorum is the drummer on the newer stuff. and their sound completely
Mhm.
changed in
the,
my eye.
the last
They don't.
song Steven Adler played on was Civil War.
There you go. And what an epic! That is my favorite Guns N' Roses song
That's a good one.
by far.
I like that
That's
one.
a classic. Like stands the test of time. Still great. Nothing crazy. Straight ahead. Great song. Um, uh, but definitely different from what I what I came up on.
Yeah, you definitely. When I met you, you were definitely more heavy, like all kinds of cool
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah, actually, you know, when we got together as a band, I mean, that was kind of our downfall per se, was that we were so heavy that we didn't throw in enough
Well,
light light and shade.
we were
But
working on that, but one of the members
yeah,
didn't want to do anything. So
yeah, exactly. We'll get into that
anyway,
eventually. We will get into that eventually.
yes,
But so yeah, I mean, I heard of it. So my early memory of it is sitting in Brendan Stake's car with he, Leslie, his girlfriend, and Scott Spencer, who's no longer with us. And that was our morning and lunchtime. We would sit in Brendan's car and you know, get crispy and listen to tunes. And we were all the guys in the car loved the heavy stuff.
yeah,
Leslie loved Guns N' Roses, Bon Jovi, White Snake, stuff like that. So Brendan would make us sit through a song or two of that stuff, and then he put some Metallica or some Slayer on or whatever,
Slay.
and it was definitely we all liked that music, but the guys that were into the real heavy stuff weren't. I would say most of them liked Guns N' Roses, but just for me, I was kind of a snob that way.
This wasn't your thing.
Yeah, it wasn't my thing.
That's
But
cool.
but I've always respected it. I never said they sucked or anything like that. But I didn't go buy it.
Yeah.
I heard it enough around that I
Okay.
didn't feel like I needed to go buy it. But the guitar work in it is pretty amazing.
Izzy and Slash work really well together.
Yup. And everybody knows Slash is a great guitar player. And
Yes.
he's a bluesy rock and roll guitar player. He's not a heavy metal player, but he can throw out the licks.
He does. And he doesn't use a lot of effects or anything either.
Right.
He just
But
uses, I think he just uses the distortion from his Marshall head and a wah.
that was kind of standard for players back then.
Because he still
And
does that. That's all he does.
wow. Well, he's good. He's good enough to get by on, not get by, but he doesn't need any gimmicks.
No. He probably has, he might have a couple other things thrown in every once in a while, but nothing crazy. So, did you have any high spots for the album?
Oh, I really love the riff to Mr. Brownstone.
It's a good one.
The it's I figure it out, and then I don't play it for a long time, and then it takes me another half an hour to figure out what he's doing.
That
But it's a great riff, good song.
that main riff, when people, I have a guitar at work, and when people are like, oh, can you play? I always rip out that riff.
I've heard you play it before. I'm like, oh, okay, I got to figure that. If Chris knows how to play it,
Oh,
I
come
should
on.
probably.
It's true now,
I,
though. Jesus, I'm so out of
it
it.
was. It's a hard riff to figure out because
It is.
it's even for someone who with an ear like I have. Like, I mean, I know where they're at on the neck,
Yeah.
but it's the note choices aren't intuitive right off the bat.
Yeah.
So which is cool of a good guitar riff.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to just be able to figure them out.
No,
You're
not at all.
supposed to think they're one thing for 30 years and then learn that you've been doing it wrong that whole time.
Exactly.
That's what good guitar licks do to you.
Well, like we were talking about in the Lost episode. That's what I'm start calling that first one, the Lost episode.
The Lost Days, sure.
We were talking about Keith Richards, and he was talking about that book. In that book, Life, he was talking. There's some riff that he has been trying to figure out since he was like 20 years old. Can't figure it out, and he knows the guy that wrote it. And the guy said, "Right before I die, if you live longer than me, I'll tell you what it is." And he still can't figure it out.
Still don't know what it is.
And I don't know, how old's Keith? Like 70, 80?
He's got to be in his 80s at least.
I don't know how old he is.
I would think.
So, yeah, look, even people like that can't figure stuff out. So,
how old is Keith Richards?
Dirt. He's dirt old. What about low spots? Was there any things you were just like, Jesus, this is terrible?
He was born in December of 43.
My God.
It's 23. So he's 80.
Huh. Old bastard.
That's crazy. And he's still thriving.
I know.
He's still playing like shows and stuff.
He does. He still plays shows.
Crazy. And he's been abusing the hell out of himself that whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Still drinking whiskey and...
My kind of guy. So, was there anything you didn't like about the album?
I mean, no, there's really nothing to dislike about that. It's definitely a classic for a reason. Just because I wasn't into it, wasn't my cup of tea, then I always knew it was great. It's like the perfect rock and roll album.
I would agree, except for one song. If this song wasn't on there and it was something different, I would 100% agree. Think About You, I think, is the stupidest song that they've ever written. Well, no, there's other ones, but that one's pretty bad. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and listen to it. I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
It's the one right before Rocket Queen.
Again, we're gonna have to go through this with Led Zeppelin 1 with you, so be careful.
I don't know. See, that's how it doesn't even stand out to you. That's how not good it is. But anyway,
I thought the whole album. I mean,
I'm not saying it's terrible. I just that song I don't think should be on there.
Any album is allowed its dud, especially a classic.
I mean, it's not really a dud. I just don't think it. To me, it doesn't fit with the rest of the album.
Well, it's funny too because they were gonna. There were some other songs that they were gonna put on there.
There were, yeah.
Don't Cry was one of them.
Yeah.
And that didn't come out until their next album.
91, I think, is when that came out.
That was Use Your Illusion 1 or 2.
It was on both. There's different versions.
Oh, okay. That actually, Shannon Hoon from Blind Melon sang the backing.
He did.
The high part.
Yes, he did.
And then he died.
It happens.
No, then
he died. He sang that, and then he died.
Then he did Blind Melon. Then he died.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, it's always interesting to, if there's other people that aren't in the band that actually play on the album. Yeah. I'm always interested in that kind of thing.
That is cool, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess now we should probably pop on over to Led Zeppelin 1.
Sure, let's do this. Now, with Led Zeppelin 1, anybody that knows me knows I like Zeppelin, but I'm not a huge Zeppelin fan. Which most people are like, oh, but you play music, you're supposed to worship them and Rush, and I don't. So.
And I think there's a reason. So when you started listening to rock and roll or heavy music, whatever, there you had other stuff to choose from.
I did, yeah.
Back in the day, you either loved Zeppelin, Beatles, or
Hmm.
the Stones,
Yeah,
because that's all there was in the 70s.
yeah.
That's all there was.
This
And
came out,
then,
what did this come out? 68. So
yeah,
69. No, it came out 69.
69.
Yeah.
Yep. Actually, almost exactly a year before I was born, it
Oh,
came out.
very nice.
I think it was January of 69 is when it
January
came out.
12th, indeed.
There you go.
Pretty good.
So,
I didn't realize
well,
how many of these songs were on this album. How many songs you know from them are on this album.
exactly. Well, it's funny because all their albums are like that.
Yeah,
You just don't know it until you listen, front to back.
yeah. I mean, I know three-quarters of the songs on here. I just thought they were on spread out across their catalog.
Right. So now for me, this is not my favorite Zeppelin album
Nor
by
is it
any
mine.
stretch. I think most people would agree. But if it was the only album they put out, it would be.
Wouldn't be
I
bad.
mean, they're still so. For me, my story with this album kind of goes back to I was 13, and I had a had a little Sears acoustic guitar with 3 strings on it. Didn't know how to tune it. I knew I wanted to try to play music at some point. Um, so there was a night where it was a Friday night. Um, I had watched I was grounded that night. I was 13, and I had a little bit of weed, which is funny because I was 13. This is 1983.
It happens.
So so I smoked a little, and then noticed that the song Remains the Same was on,
Mm-hmm.
which is the Led Zeppelin film. Watched that whole thing, ended up going to bed or whatever, and the guy that lived below me or below us, his living room was right under my bedroom, and he was a bartender who also played guitar in clubs, and he was a great guitar player. Ned Gilliland. I think he still plays music down in South Carolina. But this was when I lived in Hilton Head, South Carolina. So I don't know. I was awoken that I could hear the guy put the needle on the turntable, and the first song on the album is "Good Times, Bad Times,"
Good song.
and put the needle on. And back then you know, it was analog, so it sounded amazing.
Mm,
And back then, everybody had giant stereos that they were proud of.
of
So
course.
this guy, it was 2:30 in the morning, so he probably was nice and lubed up from the bar, and he had that thing cranked. I mean, there was no way anyone in the homes next to him were sleeping, but it didn't bother me. I mean, at all. So he played the first 6 or 7 songs at that peak volume, and I just laid there and listened to it. And I just thought to myself, like, I want to do that. I want to be able to make that kind of music. I want to hear that sound, and I want to be able to do it. So that was kind of a shifter moment in my life where it was like, Mom, Dad, I want to play guitar. So they ended up buying a guitar from this kid that he was a couple years older than me, but I would always go to his house, watch him play guitar.
Yeah,
And he had a Les Paul and a Marshall stack,
there you
a
go.
full stack.
Can't beat that.
No, parents had a little money, I think.
Few dollars.
So I'd just go watch him play. And so when he got this Les Paul, he had this Hondo 2 guitar that was his first guitar that Chris and I have a whole, that guitar's been,
It's a history.
there's some karma going on or something, some weird. So anyway, my first guitar, which I have now, again, my parents bought that guitar for me. I want to say it was for my 14th birthday or for Christmas right before I turned 14. And it was, I think they paid $75 for that, for the guitar and a little, like a Music Man amp.
Okay.
And the dude just told me all you need is one of those. He told me to get an Ibanez Sonic Distortion. It's the little green pedal.
Yeah.
And so I went out and got one of those. And man, and then when he got the Marshall Stack, I bought a PV Bandit 50-watt amp off of him. So, and that's all I needed, man. I'd plug into the distortion and like I remember the first day getting that guitar and knowing how to play like the low E power chord.
Oh yeah, man.
Or fretting up like the higher E chord and in unison with the low E string. And just that sound like made me feel like, man, I could do anything. And he taught me how to play power chords.
Okay.
And I
love them.
Just started playing guitar.
There you go.
And here I am. So anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take the spotlight off you.
Dude, you're good. No. Yeah, I mean, with Appetite, when I heard that opening, those ringing chords that he plays for My Michelle, that the darkness of that made me want to play guitar.
Is that the one where he says he used to love her, but now he's no?
That's on Lies. This is the one.
Oh.
It's right after Paradise City.
Okay.
Those dark ass. He's like just single note picking those chords. And it's really dark sounding, and I love it. And that made me want to play guitar.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I think for me for me it's kind of a jumble of things that made me. So when I was little, single digits, 7, 8, when I'd go to my grandma's house, my aunt, my dad's youngest sister, was like a folk singer and guitar player, and she played in bars and clubs in the Buffalo area. And she, whenever I would come to see them, which was like once a week, she would take me up to her room and pop these on my head and be like, "Here, listen to this." And at first it was like, the Age of Aquarius or something like that. And I was like, I don't want to listen to this shit. And I felt that way when I was 8, 7 years old. I don't want to hear this.
No, nobody wants to.
So she tried some other shit like Simon and Garfunkel, and I was like, nah, this isn't cutting it. I'm trying to get out of these cans, right? So then she popped on the first Chicago Transit Authority album with the horns, 25 or 6 to 4.
Great song.
That's on there. God, I mean, there's so many, and it's way before the Chicago ballad band. Hard for me to tell you I'm sorry. Come on.
That's your favorite.
Nobody wanted to hear that.
Everybody knows that's your favorite.
Yeah, well, But so yeah, no, it was the guitar on that. And I didn't realize, of course you love the horns, but I was like, this guitar solo this guy's playing. And I didn't really know it was a guitar or whatever, but so when I would go over there, she would also pop the guitar in my hands. She was always in a nylon string acoustic. And she would try to teach me chords and stuff, but it didn't quite hit me yet. The bug was that night.
Yeah.
When I heard that Led Zeppelin 1 at like concert volumes,
I could see why.
and I was like, man, that guy is amazing. Can play any kind of music, whatever. Well, of course, I didn't realize that, 3/4 of that album is like cover tunes or
Well,
stolen songs that were reworked or
sorry,
whatever.
a lot of people do that.
But, I think Led Zeppelin paid out a lot of money because of that. And I don't think it didn't matter.
No.
I think they're still making, millions of dollars a year
Oh,
off of people listening to their music.
absolutely they are.
I mean, Robert Plant, I think, is still out there singing.
He is. He was doing something with Alison Krauss. I don't know if he's still doing it.
Yeah, that was a few years ago, but I mean, I think he's still out there touring, which is crazy.
Yeah,
I think when Led Zeppelin 1 came out, I'm pretty sure Page and Plant were both 19 or
Were they?
20. Yeah, they weren't.
No, I know they weren't
They
old.
weren't what you would consider men yet.
Not like
You know,
us.
but I think Guns N' Roses probably was like that too,
They were pretty young, yeah.
right?
They were pretty young.
And I mean, for one, I'm sure if you went to see Axel in Vegas or wherever he's at,
They're out on tour right now. They've been out on tour for like 3 years.
what, Guns N' Roses?
Mm-hmm.
With
Slash,
what lineup?
Slash and Duff and Izzy almost did it, but I don't know what happened there. And they got some guy named Frank something or other playing drums and some keyboard girl and Dizzy Reed.
Huh. Interesting. Well, I'm sure they probably tuned down at this point. For Axel.
I'm gonna have to rehash some of that. I went to see them, but I don't remember if they tuned down or not.
Yeah, and you would be able to tell. Most people wouldn't, but I think you would. Uh-oh.
Oh, there he is in a suit. Look at that, fellas and ladies.
Did I cut out?
You did cut out. You're in a suit now. There it is. He's back.
That was 10 years ago. Then when I was in a suit, was that? No, that was Maddie's Quince. So yeah, that was 10 years ago.
I'll tell you what, when I saw them live the last time, they did some little acoustic solo thing, and then they busted into Wichita Lineman and did a cover of that.
Nice. Very nice.
I thought it was a joke, but no, they did the whole thing. And Axel's not all douchey like he used to be. He's actually on time, says thank you, all kinds of stuff. Man. He's like grown up. It's weird.
Maybe got some of his mental health issues
Maybe
addressed.
Maybe.
I know he didn't have the greatest childhood of anybody.
Nah, that's what I've heard.
And that'll do things to people.
Indeed,
Trust
it will.
me.
Indeed, it will.
Trust me, I know firsthand. I didn't have a bad childhood. Yeah, I did. My dad was very abusive, but he knows it. He's apologized, which is kind of odd. But hey, man, some people actually grow a little bit as they get older.
Yes, they do.
For me, and I know for you, we're different people than we were 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
I mean, my daughter's about to turn 25 end of September. Maddie, 25. 25. You remember when she was 5, literally.
I do, yeah, because you were my roommate and she would come over and do homework.
She'd love to hear you say that too, because she remembers the homework.
I don't know what kind of math they were teaching them back then, but holy shit.
I know. Well, and that's the one she had trouble with, and that's one I had trouble with too. I was great with English. I'd ace all my English classes, no problem.
It was ridiculous.
Not math.
This wasn't normal math. It was crazy shit.
Yeah. Well, they had them doing. It was totally different than we learned.
Yeah, it's that
Like
new
the
stuff.
way that you solve problems, they were counting like tick marks and
Yeah,
shit.
it's
And I
stupid.
don't know if do they still teach that,
Yeah,
dude?
I can't remember what the name of it is. But
That's crazy, man.
what was wrong with it? It was fine.
Exactly. I mean, it worked for me. I learned the
No,
basics and actually did was in a career for 27 years doing math,
we can talk
like a
about math
complex.
later. Let's talk
Yeah,
back
no
music.
doubt.
Nobody wants to listen to anybody talk about math.
No
So,
doubt, brother.
so yeah, with this album, let's see. I'm looking at the tracks right now because I don't know the names of all the songs. The highlights for me, I probably had two. Dazed and Confused. I've always liked that song.
I like that too. I really like the live version.
And You Shook Me. I like that one too. That's that real bluesy one on the first side, right? I
Yes,
like that one.
yes. That's like old Mississippi
I
blues.
really like that one. I would say those two are my favorite. The one that
It's some.
I really did not like was Black Mountainside.
Oh, the guitar piece.
I don't know.
It's it's supposed to be influenced by some Indian or Middle Eastern something or other.
I did not like that one.
Well, it wasn't designed for you to sing along to or anything.
No,
It's totally a guitar thing, and it's not the best guitar thing.
no,
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just I get what you're saying. You're not gonna cue it up again and listen to it anytime
no.
soon.
Well, like every other song that's on here, like if you don't know the album, Good Times, Bad Times, Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, Dazed and Confused, Communication Breakdown, all on the
Another.
same album.
That's like all on one side.
Well,
There's what's
Communication
the
Breakdown was on the B side.
what's the B side? Name off the B side.
Your Time Is Gonna Come, Black Mountainside,
Great song.
Communication Breakdown, Can't Quit You, Baby, and How Many More Times?
And everyone watching has heard all these songs, whether they even know it or not.
Was I Can't Quit You, Baby? Is that the other bluesy, super bluesy one on there? That's
Yes,
an awesome song too.
where he starts with I can't quit you, baby.
Look at that.
That.
Oh yeah.
Of
Well,
course, I can't do it. This is a smoker singing.
it happens.
But yeah, listening to it, it's that when he kicks it off like that, it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's some slow blues is coming your way.
Oh, when Jimmy Page and Robert Plant were having the vocal guitar battle in one of the songs, that was pretty cool too.
Oh, that's I can't quit you,
Is
baby.
it?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I didn't
And I
realize
know,
Robert Plant
like,
could get up there, dude.
yeah, again, but again, he was 19 or 20.
Yeah,
I think
I
it
don't think he
was
can do that now.
I think it was released just as one of the two of them turned 20. So I don't know how close they are in age, but
Ah,
it's not far. They're still both still kicking.
they are. They are. Yeah.
The John Bonham death is what killed Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see where they would have gone. But they were a super group back in the day. Like Jimmy Page was trying to put together a group of the best musicians he could find.
He did all right.
Yeah, he he certainly did. I mean, and now with the internet and the prevalence of isolated tracks,
Mm-hmm.
just hearing, I mean, just hearing the bass player, John Paul
Oh my
Jones,
God.
just listening to what he does alone and then stick the drums in there. My God.
Have you heard
And
him on
that's,
them Crooked Vultures?
yes, my God. That was, who was that? That's
Dave
John
Grohl,
Paul.
John Paul Jones. I don't know who else is in it. I just know those two.
Um, yeah, Satriani,
Is he in it?
one of those, some super group guitar players in it.
Oh, that was me.
Right.
Sorry, I forgot to tell you. Let's see. Oh, it even
Uh,
says supergroup when you look it up.
Well, shit, there's pop super groups out there, Power Station. You
There is.
remember
There's
them?
tons of them. There's Dave Grohl, John Paul Jones, and Josh Homme. I don't know how you say his name.
Um,
Homme.
yeah, Josh.
Josh Homme.
That's the guy from
Queens of the Stone Age.
yes.
Oh, he was playing guitar for Jane's Addiction when I went to see him because Dave Navarro had COVID or something.
Really?
Yeah,
Did he do all right?
he tore it up.
He's a pretty good guitar player. He's one of those. He can sing too. He's a multi talented
Yeah,
musician.
yeah, they're pretty good.
I try to be.
Well, you don't have to try. You're there.
Right.
Better than me, man.
Man, if I actually felt like playing and it didn't hurt, what's going on with my computer?
Looks
Going
fine
on?
here. I'll tell you
What's
what.
going?
We can review some of your stuff one day.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah,
Let me finish something
we'll get some
first.
followers first. That way,
I need to finish something first.
you got Breakdown. You can do our cover of Breakdown.
Oh, there's no dynamics to it. I wouldn't ever release it like it
You
is now.
wuss.
It's no dynamic. I played that for one person, and they were like, "This is terrible,"
My,
and I was like, "Really?"
my
And they were
kids love
like,
it.
"There is no dynamics in this whatsoever." And I listened to it again, and I was like, "You know what? You're absolutely right." But it was one of the first songs I
Yeah,
recorded too.
I thought it was all right.
So, I mean, I would have to mix it, and it sounds like it. You can tell what it is.
I
It
thought,
just doesn't sound good.
yeah, I thought the singer really brought it home.
The singer that didn't even know the words.
Well, I sang
you
it.
s- you went at least 4 times.
No, I was channeling Eddie Vedder.
I think what was the line? Oh, it's that song, man. It's so there. This is another thing I've learned by doing my own thing. There's so many songs out there that sound like they're just the easiest thing you could ever do.
Yes,
And when you dig deep into that, you are wrong.
absolutely wrong.
And Breakdown is one of them for sure.
Oh yeah,
Just digging into that, I thought, man, I could do this in a day. And then I started doing it, and I was like,
nope.
there's so many little nuances I missed, but of course, I'm not trying to make it exactly like it. I mean, but I'm trying to make it sound good.
Yeah, you don't have to sound like a turd. I think it sounds
There's,
fine, personally.
I mean, you know how I am.
Dude,
I'm not
you
just gonna
covered the
let something
song by yourself, playing everything except for the vocals.
except the drums,
Well,
huh?
you programmed them.
They're loops.
It's fine.
So
He
it's
programmed
a
them.
loop here, a loop there. You throw a different loop in when the song changes, that kind of thing.
He programmed
But
them.
yeah,
You did
it's
it all
true.
by yourself, man.
People will hear it. You'll hear it. We'll hear it.
I know. I'm
But
gonna throw it
I
up
would
somewhere.
like you to sing that thing again
I'll sing it
for me.
anytime you want, brother.
Got to learn the words, bro.
I know them now. I sang it about 400 times in the
That's
garage.
what you said last time.
I know it.
It's the where he says he's gonna. I can't because when I sing it, I have 4 or 5 tracks of me singing it
Oh
too,
yeah. Just throw
and
that up.
it's not bad, but it's the the string of words that he says and the way he. So here's another thing. I always thought Tom Petty sucked as a singer. Guess what? I was wrong.
He had his
He's
own
just
style.
That's it. And I conflated that with he sucked, but he hits notes at the perfect times
Yeah.
so that it sounds musical. But he hits those notes. It's not like he kind of Like I don't know. It's hard to explain. A lot of people think singing is some easy thing to do, and
It's
it's
not.
just not.
No.
Especially if you're trying to do it properly.
I
If
don't
you're
think it's
trying to
easy
get
anytime. Even if you're just doing like screamy anything or just trying to sing, doing it so it works is hard.
exactly,
Like
exactly.
I can give you a good example for how I think. That new Metallica album, 72 Seasons. Have you heard any of that?
I have not.
Yeah, I think the music, phenomenal, right?
Hmm.
It's kind of,
Usually,
it's like a mix to me between the Black Album and Justice, not Justice, yeah, and Justice for All. It's kind of a
oh,
mix, right?
okay, I'm all right
To
with
me,
that.
to me.
Okay.
The vocals, it's like the words and the melodies to me don't go with the songs at all.
uh,
And
maybe they're
I'm sure people are going to disagree with that, but you know what? I love Metallica. I like the music. I don't like those what Hetfield did there.
well, and again, Hetfield's 60 something.
I'm gonna tell you what, he still brings it live though.
Oh, he's such a phenomenal rhythm guitar player. I mean, it
Dude,
just blows my mind. He's so tight all the time.
those
And
guys,
you have to be. You have to be.
they bring it still live, dude.
Yeah. And for all the shit Lars gets for being a shitty drummer, he is fits Metallica.
He could work on
If
his
you
time live, but he's still
Oh,
okay.
sure, he's old, but he was like that back in 1989 when I saw him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, ooh, hey, you work on your timing, brother.
Hey.
And it's not. It's like
But the amazing thing is the rest of the band stays with him. Like they know when he's gonna slow down. It's crazy.
because they know his tendencies.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rhythm, the time goes like this,
Hmm.
where it's really fast, really slow, really fast, and you're like, hey, I wonder if Lars is going to lose it here, and he doesn't, and the band, like James, does a good job of reeling him back in. Like James is the time of that band,
Oh yeah.
not Lars.
No, not Lars.
Lars is following James, not the other way
I mean, Lars is doing his own thing. That giant forehead like mine. It's up here.
around. The five head.
Yeah, he's just gonna play a little guitar. I mean,
That's
drums.
funny. Funny you don't have hair now, and now I do.
Well,
A little bit.
I need to kick him in when he's
Anyway.
down.
Oh, you've been balding for a while now. That's been
Um,
years in the making.
I like to show my scalp. What do you want?
Exhibitionist.
That's right. Exactly. Speaking of that, no,
showing
I'm just kidding.
showing off. Good God. so so you're working on some weight loss?
Yeah, the doctor told me I'm too fat, so I'm gonna do a boxing regimen out in the garage.
Ooh, okay. Well, just
Well,
just listen to yourself. Don't overdo it.
you know me. Take that how you will.
That's true. I don't think I've ever seen you play like an aerobic sport.
I used to play baseball and football.
Yeah, those are anaerobic sports.
I played jumping around on stage. That was aerobic.
Basketball. We played that.
We did, yeah.
Remember the school that by my house over
Yeah,
in
yeah.
North Potomac,
I do.
off of what is that place called now?
I don't know. I never
It's
go down there.
off Muddy Branch.
I never go
Starts with
down
an
there
S.
anymore. I don't know.
That's the place Maddie liked the most because there was a pool right there. There was a big giant playground. There was the school right down the street, basketball hoops, all kinds of shit. So
Yeah,
that was cool living there.
it's no
Me, you, and
living.
Mike. Me, you, and Mike used to go and try to kill each other. Remember
I do, yeah.
playing 21.
It was
The
awesome.
three of us.
It was
We
great.
were literally trying to kill each other.
So, since you gave me Led Zeppelin to listen to, I was goofing around with Led Zeppelin stuff, and I found it's somebody's opinion, of course, of the 10 albums that are perfect from first track to last track. And I was going to see what you thought about this list.
I'm down.
All right. You want me to go backwards to forwards?
Sure.
All right.
We'll count down to number 1.
Number 10. I already know you don't agree with this one because of the Lost episode. Nirvana, Nevermind.
Nah, okay.
I agree with it because if you listen to the album, everything fits where it should be.
The flow of the album,
Mm-hmm.
the track flow.
Yeah, not necessarily that you love every song, but if you listen to it, it's not like something seems out of place.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, I mean, it's a great album. I'm just not.
You're not a Nirvana guy. It's cool.
I've never been a Nirvana guy, and I think it's because of the quality of music that came out at the same time Nirvana came out.
Yeah.
Soundgarden,
Well,
SDP.
Think about it. If Nirvana,
Alice in Chains.
Now there's another debate. If Nirvana would not have broken out, would any of those other bands have broken out?
That's a good question.
Because everybody went to Seattle to try to get the next big thing.
It's very true, and that's a very, very good question.
I think Pearl Jam would have.
I think they may have played so many shows that they already had following.
I don't think Alice in Chains would have, which is a shame.
Well,
because if you listen to Facelift, it just wasn't anything like what was out there.
True. It had a different attitude, different. It was more. There was a little more despair in the music.
Yeah,
than there was in anything at the time.
And then the next one, I've never even heard this album, so I'm sure somebody out there has. Liquid Swords by GZA.
Come again?
It's rap.
Okay, never heard of it.
Skip that one. Downward Spiral, 9 Inch Nails at number 8. I would agree with that.
So I never was an industrial guy either, but I know that 9 Inch Nails did some pretty cool stuff.
Downward Spiral is a phenomenal album.
I know, the 5 songs that came off of it that were on the radio, or however many, 3, however many. Just a different was just never my thing. Industrial.
That's the album.
You know why?
Why?
You know why?
Why?
Because it was all electronic. There wasn't any guitars in that.
This one has guitars.
Maybe there was live, or maybe I don't know. The whole thing was like industrial, seemed to me, without guitars.
Which 9 Inch Nails uses guitars. They just do it so they don't sound like guitars.
Okay.
But
all right. Yeah.
That's where Hurt came from. And, Johnny Cash covered that. And Trent Reznor actually said, after he heard Johnny Cash's version, this is no longer my song. This belongs to Johnny Cash.
Which makes sense.
That's pretty impressive that somebody can do a cover and the guy's like, nope, not my song anymore.
Nope. He did it more justice. Which, to me, I mean, he just did it differently.
It's good. It's a good, both.
But he did a good, I've heard them both, yeah.
7, I know you're going to agree with this one. Jar of Flies, Alice in Chains.
What a beautiful album.
It's a good one.
I mean,
I didn't appreciate it when it came out.
It just showcases Lane's voice more so than anything else. Than like even the stuff that's not acoustic, like I Stay Away.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to that song.
It's great.
How crazy that song is. It's so cool. It wasn't like anything I'd ever heard.
I was working at Tower Records when it came out. So I got it like right when it came out. And I was like, what is this? I hate this. But no, I've come to appreciate it.
The vocals are just he left a mark on me. He struggled as mightily as everyone knows as a human.
Yes.
With his heroin addiction. And that and Dirt really.
Dirt. Oh my God. I can't believe that's not on this list.
I can't either, because that's another just amazing. I still ah, some of the shit on there is just like, what? Like
Lane,
this dude knew he was gonna die,
he did. He
and
knew he was going to die.
because he knew he couldn't fight it.
Yeah, that's what Dirt's
Which
about. He knew he was going to die.
that's a if anyone hasn't heard that, go listen to it. Alice in Chains, Dirt.
Great album.
But Jar of Flies is another one to, if you like music that's not as heavy, listen to Jar of Flies because it's not heavy at all, and
Yeah.
it's a beautiful album.
And
Go
then
ahead. What's
number
it?
6, Rumors, Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, what a great! And this is one of those where I didn't appreciate it. I grew up listening to that. I mean, that shit was on in the house all weekend. My parents had music on, and Fleetwood Mac was, probably a fifth of all the music that was played on the radio was Fleetwood Mac. They were huge in the 70s.
They
And
had some fans.
I love them now because I
Yeah.
appreciate Lindsey Buckingham
Oh my God,
more.
he's so good.
He's a phenomenal guitar player
He is.
and a phenomenal singer,
He is. He
really.
is. Yeah.
And the other thing is that the amount of 70s tunes that Fleetwood Mac did the backing vocals to
Really?
will blow your mind.
No idea. Didn't know that.
Yeah, check it out. Look at Wiki it.
I
You
will.
know,
I will
it's
do that.
crazy. There's some really popular stuff that I always thought, hey, that's a real pretty harmony, a real pretty chorus. And then come to find out, well, it's because it's Stevie Nicks is in the back. The Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham
I'll check
are
that.
on.
I'll have to look that up. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, they were notorious for dropping by people's sessions and hanging out until they asked him to sing on them.
Huh.
Pretty cool.
That is cool. So number 5 is Demon Days from Gorillaz. I don't know that one.
Me neither, at
4,
all.
Super Unknown, Soundgarden.
Okay, well, it's definitely this list is grunge heavy
Oh, there's more.
or grunge heavy. I don't necessarily think any of the grunge bands are grunge at all, except for maybe Nirvana.
They were more punk. I don't know. They were like pop punk, but more on the punk side.
Right. But the flannel shirts kind of
Hey man,
fit
they were
it
poor.
fit the whole vibe. Pearl Jam,
They're
that's grungy, I
they're
guess.
just rock.
Well, that's to me, that's what the grunge bands are. STP,
If you want a grungy sound, I would say
Alice,
Bad Motorfinger has a grungy kind of sound. That's
grungy,
that
yes.
sludgy, heavy guitar is what I would think.
Yes. Yes.
What about London Calling? The Clash.
Okay, that was
Number 3.
a friend of mine's brother was really into that stuff in the early 80s when he and I were hanging out. His brother was always playing the Clash or Elvis Costello or Joe
Elvis.
Jackson or like all these 70s kind of artsy fartsy kind of bands. What's the one? Uh like Brian Eno,
Oh.
I don't know, Split Ends, all kinds of wacky shit. But I liked the Clash just because you could tell. I didn't even know what it meant back in the day, but you could tell they had a political agenda. Even not even understanding what that was back then, I knew like they didn't like the government so much.
No.
uh,
Nirvana Unplugged.
Okay. So for me, I don't want anybody to think I hate Nirvana.
He
I
hates Nirvana.
just I just never
It's
got into them as much because I didn't think they had as much talent as
have you
all the other bands that were coming out.
have you heard the Unplugged album?
I have.
All right. I think
It's,
it's
it's
fucking awesome.
It's not so bad
No.
at all.
And then
They don't suck, but
number
just
one.
wasn't my.
What do you think number one is? See if you can get this.
Well, from the
Don't think about just what's on this list. What do you think the perfect, all-time perfect album is, according to whoever wrote this?
all-time perfect
I think it was
Hotel
BuzzFeed.
California. I have no idea.
Led Zeppelin 4.
Okay.
I would agree. Dude, Led Zeppelin 4 is
that
phenomenal.
one's tough to beat. Yeah, it's tough to beat. Just there's like 8 songs on it, and you've heard all of them.
Yeah.
And they're all amazing.
They're great.
They've all I'd have to say, I don't want to say my favorite song, but the one with the most impact for Led Zeppelin, I think, besides Stairway to Heaven, was When the Levee Breaks.
Fucking love that song.
Because of the drums.
That is my favorite Led Zeppelin song by far.
And they recorded all their drums in like a landing of a stairwell in a big giant castle.
Yeah.
And they got this giant fucking drum sound.
Yeah.
And from then on, everybody's been trying to get that.
Rick Beato. Have you seen the episode where he talks about that?
I'm sure I did.
Yeah. Anybody that's interested, Rick Beato, he's got a channel. No way affiliated with us. He talks about that in one of his episodes, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting.
Rick's got a good music sense. Well, he's a great musician.
Yeah.
But I like how he talks about different stuff like that, and it's not all guitars.
No,
it's about the music.
He produced that first Shinedown album.
Yes. And he also wrote some song that went number 1 in the country.
Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy.
So he's got a number 1 song under his belt writing it.
He may know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about him at first, but he's a smart guy, and he thinks like I think. He's just a lot smarter than I am, and a lot more ambitious.
Well,
and I wish I had his collection of guitars.
Oh my God! Come on,
and
man.
amps.
It's ridiculous. Well, he's been doing it since the 70s.
Oh yeah, he can sound like any guitar player he wants.
Yeah.
Plus, he's got the chops to do that.
He was talking about he might come out of retirement to start producing again.
Why not? I mean, he needs to take a hold of some of these new bands and get them to
make them not suck.
Yes. Thank you. Get them to be more organic. Like for me, literally, it hurts to just listen to things that humans didn't play.
Yeah.
Because to me, that takes all the art really out of it. I mean, there's a part of art in there, but to me, it's like, oh, I want to hear some emotion too.
Yeah, I get that.
You can't really do that with electronic noises.
If it's the main focus in a song, I don't like it. But if it's just in there for a little flavor, I don't mind.
Well, like I try to throw a little piano or something into my stuff.
Well, you can put soul into it.
That's different. Yeah, but I don't want it to be perfect.
No, you can't be. I listen to industrial, and if whatever noises they're making work with the song, perfect. If not,
it makes sense. Makes sense. And I won't listen to industrial because it's just not my thing. I mean, to me, also back in the day, industrial was what's that band? The guy always had like a funky
Ministry.
Yes. Yes.
Psalm 69 is a great album.
That was as industrial as I could ever get.
Yeah.
Just
that's
because that was.
They say it's industrial, but that's
like before computers industrial.
Yeah.
They try to make it sound industrial with conventional stuff.
Yeah. I like that.
9 Inch Nails used a lot of keyboards to achieve that.
Especially on
There's
Pretty Hate Machine they did. After that, I'm like Downward Spiral, there's a lot of guitars on
right. Actually, you're right. Um, so that was the okay. I'll have to go back and listen to some of that.
that.
Some
Now,
Trent Reznor.
it's still got keyboards and stuff. Like
Right, which I
Closer.
don't mind. I like that. But again, it's if it's like I don't know, it's I have a hard enough time playing against drums that line up on a grid,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
It's tough to make that sound soulful.
I get it.
But,
Trust me, I get it.
but I tried. So maybe one day this channel will see some of my music.
Oh,
I
they'll
have to
see it.
I have to finish some of it first.
People have heard your music on my other channel.
It's true. It's
Inverted
true.
Extrovert. Shameless plug.
Snippets of Scott Andrews gold. Music gold.
Hey, some people dig it, man.
So what are we gonna do next?
Let's see. I don't know. What do you think?
I think we should pick it while we're here.
Oh, absolutely. That way everybody knows what's coming up and they'll be cream in their drawers waiting for our answers.
And it can be
Anything. Anything. Speaking of that, if anybody, local bands, whatever, wants us to listen to their stuff and put it out here on the interwebs, feel free to send it to us. Maybe, I don't really know how you're going to do that, but I don't know, maybe in an email or something.
I actually, my neighbor and his band just put out something. It's like death metal, but perhaps I could talk to him and see if they want to do something.
All right, yeah, that's cool.
Listen to a song of theirs and break it down.
All
I don't think you want to listen to too many of them because
I don't know, dude. Liquid metal
they're a
on
little
XM.
rough. It's a little rough on the ears, you know.
I don't mind
for being an old man now.
I don't mind it.
But you're not as old as I am.
I was listening to Meshuggah yesterday.
Oh, it's been a long time since I've actually. I was pretty weirded out by this, but I told Google to play me some Megadeth.
Nice.
And that's as heavy as I've gotten in quite a while. But I enjoyed it, as I haven't listened to that kind of music in years.
And if you want to hear some heavy, dude, I was listening to Liquid Metal on XM or Sirius or whatever it is. There's this band called Cattle Decapitation.
Oh, I've heard of them. Yeah,
Their drummer, holy shit.
Just blast beats after blast.
Dude, he was rocking the kick at like 400 beats a minute, dude. It was nuts.
Crazy.
I just thought the name was funny, really.
Cattle Decapitation. Yeah, I've definitely heard of them. I haven't listened to them yet, but I've heard of them.
They're a little hard on the ears.
I think we'll try to keep this to a listenable level. So I think for you, I'm gonna give you Chicago.
Oh,
it's Chicago Transit Authority.
Let me get that right now.
That should be that is their first album, and that's before any of the ballads. But boy, are there some great songs on there, and the guitar playing on there, and the horns and the vocals and the drums, the bass, everything is amazing.
It's look at Meshuggah's still on there.
Does that say hard to tell you I'm sorry on your phone?
Hard to say I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's not the Chicago that I like.
Is that the right album?
That's the ballad Chicago. That's not Chicago Transit Authority.
Oh, all right.
That's like gushy ballad Chicago that sold out to make trillions of dollars on singles.
You don't like You're My Inspiration? Come on.
Not really. I mean, it's good for. It's not horrible music, but it's
Yeah, it is.
Not my cup of tea at all. That's not the Chicago. They're
So this one
definitely
is
two different bands. Up
like
until like 74, they were a great band. And then they
this is the right one here. Can you read that at all?
keep it still. Mm. Yes, the right
Excellent.
one.
Excellent.
All I'd had to do was listen to or find questions 67 and 68.
All right.
If that's on there, that's the right album.
Saved.
25 or 6 to 4, is that on there?
I don't know. I just saved it. Hopefully
Oh,
it is.
okay.
Hopefully it
It
is.
is.
But anyway, I know
It's
that
on.
song is an awesome song. I am, sir, am going to give you, interesting enough how you were talking about Izzy Stradlin, because I'm giving you Izzy Stradlin and the Juju Hounds.
Okay.
I,
I definitely have never heard
I
that.
think you're going to dig it. It's he has a bunch of different albums. I think this is the only one he did with the Juju Hounds. The cover looks
Okay.
like this.
Okay. Yep. It won't be. There it is right there.
I'm gonna tell you what. You can tell who wrote a lot of the songs in Guns, but it doesn't sound like Guns.
Okay. Which it's to me, it's hard to sound like somebody unless you have
Well, I mean,
those type of players in
yeah,
your band.
I think you'll dig this one.
To me, that's the coolest thing about bands or even solo artists that use like someone like Steely Dan that uses different bands for different songs. Um, you can tell if they changed bass players.
Yeah.
You can tell if it's a different drummer. You
Yep.
can tell if, and that's kind of like the magic that band music played by people brings to my brain. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. That's
I
it. That's really it. It you get to know people in a way by listening to their music
yeah. I think you're
or
gonna
what
dig
they're
this album.
thinking.
I think you're gonna dig this one.
I'm sure I will. I mean he's a great songwriter and he's a great rhythm guitarist for sure. And I know he plays or he did play leads here and there
Yeah.
with Guns N' Roses.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Guns N' Roses gets sold short a lot by everyone just talks about Axl and Slash.
Yeah.
And they're not. Well, I mean, to me, Steven Adler was a completely changed that band. Or Matt Sorum changed the band when
Yeah.
he joined because he doesn't drum anything like Steven Adler.
No. The original 5 definitely made that band what it was.
Yes. And you can hear the difference when you go to the next album or the album
Well, Use Your
where
Illusion.
Sorum.
He played Use Your Illusion. Soren played on those, but that's still got some bangers, dude. It's got some good songs.
Right, but that original sound is gone.
Well,
It's
also
a different sound.
Izzy helped write all those songs too.
You mean the first album?
No, on Use Your Illusion.
Right, but it's different drummer.
It's a different drummer. Everybody else is the same, and they added Dizzy Reed.
Right, and to me, it sounds like a totally different band.
Yeah,
just because of the drumming. Not
yeah,
a totally brings it to a different element.
I get it.
Like Steven Adler,
he was more raw.
Seemed like he was on the edge.
Yeah,
like
he was more raw.
Definitely, and swung differently musically.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Now,
But that to me, that's what's intriguing about music that's played by people.
Mm-hmm.
And even me, some of the stuff I record and listen to, you go, okay, that doesn't swing. It sounds like I'm playing like perfectly or trying to. I'm trying to get away from that.
Yes, yes, definitely do that. Mistakes are okay. They add flavor.
Exactly. I mean,
Not
not
like
bad.
no, not like like that, but no.
Right.
If you hit,
For me, usually what I do is I come up with something on the spot
yeah,
and rehearse it for 2 minutes tops, and then I record it,
it's
and then
good.
I move on. And then
There you go.
if it doesn't sound right or it doesn't swing the right way, then I'll re-record it. But
Yeah,
usually I just leave it because it's not going to get that much better if I belabor it. But it depends on how intricate the part is. And I haven't played a lot of intricate stuff yet.
you will.
Music, huh?
You will.
It'll be a little more intricate than it is, but
Yeah.
I'm still learning
All
too.
right.
I've never written songs myself
It's tough,
or
isn't
a tune. Yeah, it's very tough when you have zero influence other than your own.
Yes.
So I have to try to fool myself into thinking different ways about different things, but it's interesting. It's fun.
Yeah,
It
it is.
it would have my calling, I think, was probably producing or audio engineering. Probably
Oh,
producing.
you're a pretty
I
good.
could have
Yeah.
made a good Rick Rubin, lay on the couch,
There you go.
listen to your band,
Fuck yeah.
tell you hey, everything's great, but you got to get rid of your bass player.
There you go. That's all you need to do. And
then we'll just record you, and I'll take, my whatever 12 cents a copy,
that's right.
a play or whatever, and go produce something else.
There you go. He's done some great albums.
That would have been fun.
All right. So I'm listening to Chicago. You're listening to Izzy.
Got it.
Well, listen to him for a week, 2 weeks. What you want to do?
Well, we'll figure it out. Probably a week.
All right. So I'll try to put this out on Tuesday, and everybody, you heard that Tuesday. Everybody, subscribe. That way, it'll help us, and we can get actual clips from songs.
Yeah, exactly. So we can become like real.
That's right.
Legit.
All right. See y'all in a couple weeks.